Morning, everyone, and welcome once again to our weekly SonRise Project call, where we are always here together in a safe and warm and compassionate place, really working towards self-healing and healing our families. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And boy, is that timely this morning as we look around the world with what's happening in the world everywhere. I'm so delighted to introduce our speaker this morning and our special guest. She was referred to us by one of our Sunrise community members, Linda Burke, who I met, 23 years ago when Kyle was born. And so thank you, Linda, and thank you for always being here. But back to the guest. Our guest today is Dr. Kweli Carson, the anti-burnout coach. And I am so thrilled to have her because I'm feeling burned out myself. And I think probably a lot of us are. But let me focus. Let me get focused. Dr. Kweli Carson is a certified coach, former dentist, and best-selling author of The Ultimate Self-Love Guide for Black Women. After experiencing severe, and she's holding up the book, it's right there, and it's available on Amazon and Audible. It's called The Ultimate Self-Love Guide for Black Women. Dr. Quayle experienced severe burnout that impacted her health and led her to step away from her dental practice, where she then rebuilt her life around balance, boundaries, and self compassion. Today, Dr. Quayle works as an anti burnout coach, supporting high achieving women who are successful on the outside but exhausted on the inside. How many of us can say amen to that? Her work focuses on helping women understand what burnout really is, recognizing the early warning signs, and preventing it through sustainable self care. A core part of Dr. Quayle's coaching is helping women clarify their highest priorities, what truly matters most in this season of our lives, and then intentionally designing our lives around those priorities. Many of the women that Dr. Quayle works with have spent years caring for everyone else, and her work helps them put themselves back on their own list without guilt so that they can live with greater peace, presence, and purpose. So I am so thrilled to have you here with us this morning, Dr. Quayle. Dr. Quayle also has a daughter, 27-year-old daughter, and she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and a soror of mine. And she is bearing down and dealing with the snow like many people are
Mhm.
this weekend. And we talked about staying safe and staying warm and being grateful for having heat, and having power. So, welcome. Good morning. It's good to see you this morning.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly. And thank you, Linda Burke, who I love. Our daughters are besties. So
Yes.
it is my pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah. Well, we're thrilled to have you. And I really do want to, before we get into our topic for today, which is about burnout and how we can see the signs and really work to stem that. I, like all of us, are seeing what's happening in the world, particularly in Minneapolis, and horrified and terrified and concerned and wanting to do something, protest, however we may choose to. And I don't want to shift this to a political conversation, but I do want to just acknowledge that because I do think while many of us have experienced or might currently be experiencing professional burnout, there's also personal burnout and emotional burnout from what is happening in our own lives with our own children and our own families and what we're seeing in the world. So I'd love for us to start our conversation by talking about that. And, you know, how do you deal with just the reality of what's happening right in this moment, in this world, and in Minneapolis? How do you deal with that?
I would say that all of us have to find the way that works for us. So,
Hmm.
what works for me, I might not recommend to others, but what works for me is not really putting my head in the sand, but
Yes.
taking the information as I am prepared and ready to accept it in the moment. So I'll just be very honest with you. The
Yes.
first Trump administration, I was watching the news all the time. I was screaming at the television. My blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure was being raised. It was affecting me
Mm-hmm.
on a physiological level.
Yes.
And I knew that if I continued down that path, that that was going to destroy me. And so I made a decision to stop watching the news. Now, does that mean
Mm-hmm.
that I totally don't know anything that's going on in the world? No. I read the news. I do not watch it. I can't consume it that way anymore. It's just too
Mm.
much. It's too much. I'm an empath. It's too much for my body. It's too much for my body, my mind, and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I read the news, but I read it, breaking news is popping up on my phone all day long. I
Right.
don't look at it until I'm ready to sit with it, to, breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So I really cannot offer great advice on what to do. I would say we need to find the things that we can do either individually or with our organizations or with our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So I do things
Yeah.
with my sorority. I do things with, I'm a member of the Links Incorporated. So we do
Mm-hmm.
have some programs. We do have some things that we can do, things that I
Right.
can
And
donate to.
community. And even being in community, I think coming here every Sunday morning is a wonderful opportunity to be in community with people that are, most of us are probably feeling the exact same way, with our
Hmm.
own challenges, sitting in all the snow that's coming and praying that the electricity stays on and then looking at what's happening in the world with sadness, and
Yes.
concern. So, but I
Yes.
appreciate that honesty. So you said for you, you don't watch the news, you read the news. And so you see the pop-ups or you see the highlights or the headlines, and
Hmm.
you limit yourself from seeing it
Hmm.
because you internalize it.
There is something that is different in the way that I experience the information when I
Yes.
hear it and when I see it on a television
Mhm.
screen, when I see that the actual events unfolding does something different to me than when I read it. And
Interesting.
again,
It
this is
works for
just,
you. People have to do what's
that's
right for them.
correct.
And as Dr. D and I, we were saying just a little bit before, exercise our right. When the elections come up in November, on the congressional side and on the Senate side, exercise our right so
Hmm.
we can make
Absolutely.
some real changes. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's focus on our topic today. I shared a little bit ago that you were a dentist
Hmm.
and a practicing dentist, and now you focus on coaching and burnout and helping people like all of us avoid burnout. So, can you share a portion of your personal journey that led you to such a massive shift in your life? I mean, that is a massive shift. Being a dentist, giving all that up, and you went to dental school, you did all the work, all the years, and you did all that, and then at one point you said, "Enough, I'm done." So, what happened that led you to that?
So I was an endodontist or a root
Okay.
canal specialist.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I did literally root canals all day long. Now, when
Mm.
people just hear the word root canal, they start backing
Hmm.
away.
Correct. Yep. Uh-huh.
So there is a lot of emotion associated with root canals. People have a lot of
Yes.
fear. Patients are in pain when they come into the
Hmm.
office. So I did that for 20 years. So I just want to say it wasn't like, that's okay.
Right.
I was doing root canals daily for 20 years. But at some point along the way, I got my own practice. I
Okay.
wanted, I had worked for someone else and I said, oh, I have all these ideas. I want to have my own practice. I got my own practice. It was like a pile of dirt. So, we did the
Mm-hmm.
build out, all the things, hired the
Mm-hmm.
staff, designed the culture the way that I wanted it, did all the things. It was a beautiful office. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
proud of what I created.
Yes.
I'll say we because I had a good team and then, wonderful supportive husband and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So very proud of what we created. But around probably year 5, I just
Mm-hmm.
started breaking down. It was
Mm-hmm.
just in addition to the patient care, which is really managing a lot of fears, a lot of people's pain, all of that. And I'm an
Mm-hmm.
empath, so
Yes.
I feel like I'm absorbing all of this all the time. It was a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So just that portion of it was a lot. But then you add to that hiring and firing people, taking care of all of the management of everything,
Mm-hmm.
constant stress. So it got to the point where it started affecting my health,
Mm.
where,
Physically, your physical health.
my
Mm-hmm. Is that?
physical
Mm-hmm.
health,
Mm-hmm.
where I was, I don't want to get into all of the mysterious illnesses and things that were happening,
Mm-hmm.
but just I could feel my body breaking down. In
Uh-huh.
addition to that, I started having panic attacks in my office where,
Wow.
I would feel them coming on. I would go out to my car and I didn't know I was having a panic attack. I didn't know what a panic attack was, but just trying to
What does
catch
that
my
feel
breath.
like? What does it feel like?
Um, like I couldn't suck in air.
Mm,
It's like
mm-hmm,
trying to get the air in and just feeling overwhelmed. Um,
mm-hmm,
And so I would go out to
mm,
my car because I didn't want
mm-hmm.
folks to see me this way because I'm the
Yes.
leader.
Right.
And I'm in my car. I
Yes.
remember one time being in my car calling my husband, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, okay, breathe, baby, breathe.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
realized later, oh, these were panic attacks.
Yes.
So
For me,
this
they show
was,
up as chest pains. And sometimes
mm,
I feel like, am I having a heart attack? And
yes,
it feels
tightness.
really tight in my chest when I'm having
Hmm.
one of those things. And similarly, as an entrepreneur, I 100% understand, payrolls
Hmm.
every 2 weeks and clients coming and
Yes.
going and the stress of keeping it all going is can be
Hmm.
overwhelming sometimes.
The
Yes.
just
So,
all of that
mhm,
responsibility all the
yes.
time.
Hmm.
It never turned off. I would
Yes.
be on vacation and
Mm,
I would still be thinking, did they take the deposit to the bank? I wonder if,
yes. Yes,
just
I
could
do.
could never turn it off.
Hmm.
So anyhow, it was not sustainable. And
Okay.
I ended up having, you know, a moment with myself and some very good friends, and
Hmm.
who said to me, my Spelman sisters, who said to me, "Listen, what do you really want?" And I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, right. What do I want? I do not want this anymore. Like this is not
Hmm.
working for me." So I ended up closing my practice.
Hmm.
Um, and it was a huge, messy situation financially and in every way. It was horrible, but it was actually the best thing I ever did because after closing the practice, I went to go work for someone else. So I was still doing
Hmm.
root canals, still,
Hmm.
taking care of patients for years. And then, but I could just, it could turn off.
Yes.
It was
The
not a
turn off.
24/7 situation. It was a 9 to 5 situation. So that was more manageable. But then at the beginning of the pandemic, I actually completely shifted out of clinical dentistry and I started working actually as a dental consultant. So I
Oh,
still do some of that work.
what
And
exactly is a dental consultant?
so there's a few different things that I do. The main thing that I do is with an insurance company
I
where
see.
I am reviewing. cases and helping to make determinations. But
I
I've
see.
also had a couple of contracts. I was on a fraud, waste, and abuse contract. And so I enjoyed that. It was kind of like detective work. I also did some expert witness work. Um,
Okay.
and so that was also interesting. So just
Oh,
not having
nice.
to take care of people, not having
Yes.
to manage a staff, just really working independently in my
Yes.
pajamas at a laptop. So
Yes,
couldn't
taking
ask for
care of
better.
you. And so that is really, I get it on so many levels. I think that, we as women, we take care of everybody all the time. And so you have your daughter and your husband and your sorority and links and all these organizations that you're a part of, and then you are the last on the list. And so I have a question around, and I'm holding my locket, which is the serenity prayer, because it really takes massive courage to do what you did, to walk away from a practice, a thriving practice, and to start from scratch and to do something else in the space of burnout. And so how do we know when it's burnout versus I'm just tired? I'm not sleeping very well. I'm just tired and I'm stressed out because I have a proposal due or what have you. How do you know when it's burnout? What are the warning signs?
So I think about burnout as that bone deep exhaustion. You have slept all night and you still wake up exhausted. You had the
Mm,
weekend to recover, and Monday morning you're still just dragging. So
mm,
stress is more of a situational thing. You have a situation, your body responds to that situation is removed, you recover.
mhm, mhm.
Burnout is when that stress is excessive and prolonged. So, burnout
Ah,
is that physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion plus decreased motivation plus a
mm.
negative attitude towards yourself and others. So,
Ooh,
you are experiencing your life in a different way when you have burnout. You feel different about your life, your work, yourself, and other people. So it's not
oh,
just, oh, I'm stressed. It is now, your physical health, your mental health, your relationships can begin to
mm,
suffer as a result of what's happening, whether it's at work, because you're a caregiver, whatever it may be that has you physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted.
right. So what are the early warning signs? I think what I heard you say is that, when you wake up and you've gotten 8 hours of sleep or seven, or I'm happy if I have five. But if you wake up and you're still exhausted, and but
Hmm.
is that this one of the warning signs? And also your mental health toward yourself, your negative
Hmm.
talk to yourself, are those warning signs?
They are. I think about warning signs in three different categories. So
Okay.
physical, emotional, and behavioral. So the physical signs are the exhaustion or frequent
Hmm.
illnesses or headaches, panic attacks, those kinds
Hmm.
of things.
Hmm.
Emotionally, it's feeling like a failure, having
Mm.
self-doubt, having cynicism, having a negative attitude.
What about
Um,
sadness? Would that be in there, or is that more on the depression side?
So I always
Sadness?
think about the difference between burnout and depression. And I think you can have sadness with both. And I am not
Okay.
a therapist, I'm a dentist,
Yes.
y'all.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Understood.
But when I think about depression, I think about that is just kind of the overall state, whereas
Yes.
burnout is associated with this prolonged and excessive stress,
Got it.
whatever
Okay.
that
Hmm.
that thing is that is causing the burnout.
Okay.
So I think you can have sadness with both. And
Okay.
then, so that's physical, emotional, behavioral is now you're snapping at people. You're taking your
Mm.
frustrations out on others. You are numbing yourself with food, alcohol, drugs, doom scrolling, any type of distractions, just trying to cope
Mm,
with it,
mm.
procrastination. So those kinds of things. So those are
Wow. I'm
you're
smiling
like
internally.
you're
I'm
sitting
just like,
here ticking them off in your
okay.
mind.
Uh-huh. I'm like, okay. So what can we do if we recognize some of those signs? What are some of the tools we can use, or what are some of the ways what can we do if we are looking at ourselves and listening to you saying, okay, like you just said, check, 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 check. What can we do to help ourselves get out of that burnout stage?
The first thing is that I think we should acknowledge it. I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we just go into the fixing or into the,
Mm-hmm.
but just acknowledging it and sitting with it, being kind
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves, being gentle to ourselves, saying, man, this is hard. Like, this is a really tough season right now. With all
Yes.
that is going on in the world, maybe with all that is going on personally or professionally, man, this is hard. And giving
Mm-hmm.
ourselves some grace for that. So acknowledgement, being kind to ourselves are the first things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now
Mm-hmm.
what do we do?
Yes.
We we start asking ourselves some critical questions. So, what do I have on my list and why?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on this to-do list of mine that I can take off of here? Can
Yes.
somebody else do it? Does it even have to be done? So, some of these kind of
Right.
things. What is most important to me, not to everyone else, but what are the
Mm-hmm.
things that matter most to me? And am I taking care of those things? Am I prioritizing those things? So I
Mm-hmm.
think just being really clear on what your priorities are and really focusing on those and trying to eliminate as much other stuff as you can.
All the
Another thing
extras.
is
Mm-hmm.
recognizing when you are exhausted. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we are exhausted and we just push through that exhaustion. Sometimes you have to do that. You're on an 8 hour shift at work, you have to push through the rest of your shift. You have a patient
Mm-hmm.
waiting for you, you have to go see your patient. So sometimes you have to do that. But do you have to do that all the time? Sometimes we might need to
Mm-hmm.
just go sit down somewhere. I tell my parents that all the time. Go sit
Mm-hmm.
down somewhere. Just,
Right.
we need to
Right.
make sure that we're resting. So,
Mm.
I am a huge proponent of self-care, self-compassion, and self-love. The book is all about that. So some self-care things. And self-care doesn't solve everything, but I have this framework called Breathe.
I was just
Um,
about to ask you about that. Yes, please share of what that's all
so,
about.
so in the book is divided into three sections: self-care,
Okay.
self-compassion, and self-love. At the
Okay.
end of each section, there is something that says 10 actionable ways to incorporate either self care, self compassion, or self love into your daily life. At the end of the self care section, I noticed recently that out of those 10 actionable items that I have there, seven of them spell the acronym BREATHE. So,
Oh,
B for boundaries, R for rest, E for eating well, A for art and creativity, T for therapy, H for hydration, and the other E is for exercise. So,
oh.
this is just an easy way to remember some of the self care basics.
I put
So,
those words in the chat if anybody's
oh,
on
yay!
chat. That's awesome. So
So,
breathe. Wait, what I want to just say them again. Boundaries. So breathe
mhm,
stands for boundaries, rest, eating well, art, and creativity, I think you said.
mhm,
Therapy, hydration, and exercise. I love that.
yes. So, the thing that I love about that acronym, first of all, it reminds you of the word breathe. So, we all should
Yes.
make sure that we are actually breathing. My favorite breathing technique is box breathing. I use it all the time. I used it last night as I was trying to go to sleep and just, relax myself. but to remember to actually breathe and
Can
then
we do that,
remember,
please? Can you teach us here? For those of us who don't
sure,
know what box breathing is, maybe do it now
yes,
while we have the time,
sure.
please.
And you know what? If I had thought about this, I actually have a video. I have
That's okay.
a, a video that I could have played, but so box breathing, it's called box breathing because a
Hmm.
box has four equal sides. So
Hmm.
what you do with box breathing is you breathe in for four. So it's like breathe in for four, hold for four, breathe out for four, hold for four. So it's a box in for four,
I
hold for four,
see.
out for.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I can guide you all and you all can
Yes.
just do it if we'll go through a few cycles. Okay, so
Okay.
let me
Yes.
catch my breath first.
Okay.
Okay, so get ready to breathe in. Okay, so breathe in, two, three, four, and hold. Two, three, four. Breathe out. Two, three, four, and hold. Two, three, four. Breathe in. Two, three, four, and hold. Two, three, four. Breathe out. Two, three, four, and hold. Two, three, four. Breathe in. Two, three, four, and hold. Two, three, four, and breathe out. Two, three, four. All right. So you can do that
That was lovely. Thank you.
4 times. That's 1 minute. You can do that anytime. So,
Hmm.
when you're thinking about self-care, a lot of times people are thinking spa treatments and
Hmm.
these lavish vacations, which I love both of those. But
Yes.
you can't always get a facial in the middle of a meeting.
Right, exactly. But
Can't,
we can take a moment to breathe,
you can
and a
take a
moment,
moment to
a
breathe.
minute. I love
Hmm.
that. I love that. Oh, I love that. So boundaries, that's your first B.
Hmm.
Share some examples of how you've done that, in terms of setting boundaries.
So
That's often really hard for us,
it
especially with our
really
kids and
is.
our loved
It
ones.
is.
Hmm.
And I think in general, I'll just say my boundary has become just saying no to a lot of things. And I
Hmm.
think as women, we are conditioned to say yes a
That's
lot.
right.
Just
Hmm.
being a
That's
good
right.
little girl, you just do what you're told.
That's right.
Um, it's actually one of the things I do in my one-on-one coaching is
Hmm.
talking about saying no. Why do we have a problem saying no? Why do we
Hmm.
really examining that each person? Why am I feeling
Hmm.
guilty about saying no? What is it? Let's get a little bit deeper
Hmm.
into that. And then learning how to say no in a way that rolls off of your tongue.
Yes.
So I just did a post the other day. My husband has no problem saying no. His thing is, nah, I'm good. He says it all the time. Nah, I'm good. That
That's
doesn't
great.
really roll off my tongue. But what rolls
Hmm.
off of my tongue is thanks for thinking of me, but I can't do that right now. Or thank you,
Right.
but
Or no, thank you.
no, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm
So
good.
yeah, I'm good. So
Hmm.
boundaries.
I love
Just
that.
really trying to do whatever you can to preserve your time and your
Yes.
energy.
I love
So
that.
saying no. Rest is next.
Hmm.
So the
Right.
B is for boundaries, R is for rest. Making sure that you are getting sleep, but also making sure that you are taking breaks. We do not,
Hmm.
a lot of us don't take breaks. We just power through the whole day, or,
Right.
we just power through. So taking breaks, not even when you need them, but before you need them.
Mm.
Um, I had a situation when I was working. I was seeing back-to-back patients. I didn't want to take a bathroom break, so I wouldn't drink anything and ended
Mm.
up in the ER with, dehydration.
Wow.
Like, make sure that you are taking breaks, bathroom breaks,
Hmm.
stretch breaks, a break to take a quick
Hmm.
walk. I do something called sitting outside adjacent, where I go sit on my
Hmm.
sofa. I just stare out the window. I don't have
Oh,
a computer. I don't have a phone. I don't have a book. I don't have a pen and paper. I just sit there, give my brain a break,
and that's the rest.
stare out
That's
the
the
window.
rest you're doing every day.
That's rest. Yep.
hmm
So that's
It's
self-care.
interesting. For me, rest is Sunday. At least I try. I
Hmm.
try to have a day of rest on Sundays. It sometimes is not possible, or,
Hmm.
I have a couple calls, couple meetings, or what have you. But for me, that's the moment, that's the time where and even spiritually, that's the day of rest. But I love that. You do a rest break every day. Okay.
I
So
was
we've
gonna
talked.
say,
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, I mean, a Sunday, a day of rest is beautiful, but every day,
Mm-hmm.
find some
Mm-hmm.
kind of rest, some kind of break for yourself.
Yes,
And we can make that time. A lot of
we
people think,
can.
oh, oh, I don't have time for
We
self-care. Yes,
can.
you do.
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
you do.
That's right. We do.
Um, so,
hmm
okay, so that's
That's great.
rest.
Yes. And then eating
Okay,
well is the E of
eating
your
well.
breathe. Mm-hmm.
So, eating well is pretty self-explanatory, but
Yes.
just eating nutritious food that nourishes your body.
Yeah.
This is off on a tangent a little bit. I'm a tangent girly, so pull me back
That's
if
okay. You're a
if you
creative
need
at heart. I can tell.
to.
I am too. It's okay.
But I had COVID back in June. And
Okay.
so I lost my sense of taste and smell. I
Mm-hmm.
have partially gained back both, but not all the way. So now part of eating well for me is doing mindful eating. So
Mm.
I'm like really trying to remember the memories of what, a good brownie tasted like, or, because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't taste the same anymore. But I'm like
Mm.
sitting there trying to enjoy the flavor, the texture, the temperature,
Mm-hmm.
the altered smell. So anyway, that's
Mm-hmm.
another aspect of eating well for me now is mindful
Yes.
eating.
Mindful eating. That's right.
Um,
Okay.
so, and then the A, art and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked earlier, how am I dealing basically with what's going on in the world? I think right now it is more important than ever for us to um, make sure that we're enjoying things. And some people might think that that is like, oh, this is the worst time. There's so much going on. How dare you? No, we need to make sure that we are enjoying our lives as much as we can. So
Mm-hmm.
art and creativity is really important. What music do you
Mm-hmm.
like? Play that
Mm-hmm.
music. Have that music in the background. Do you like going to the
Mm-hmm.
museum? What kind of art do you like? Put some of that up on your wall. Print out some stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be $1,000 piece of art. A piece of art that you
Yeah.
like, print it
Right.
out and stick it in front of you. Um,
Right.
Years ago, I heard Michelle Obama tell this group of activists, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you plan your joy. We
Yes.
plan everything else. We plan play dates for children, dental
Yes.
appointments. We plan summer camp months ahead. We do
Mm-hmm.
all of this planning.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you plan your joy. Make sure you have
Yes.
something to look forward to. A
Mm-hmm.
concert. For me, I always have a concert. Right now, it's the next one I can think of is in March. That's Boys to
Mm.
Men and
Oh, nice.
New Edition and Tony Braxton.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
tickets for that. Plan a
Awesome.
trip, just have something. So plan your joy. Okay, so
Yes.
art and creativity. The next one is therapy. Everybody needs therapy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I agree.
everybody all the time, but at some point in your life. I think therapy is wonderful. My therapist gave me some excellent tools. My therapist is the reason I'm sitting on this call right now.
Really.
She, because
Mm-hmm.
she introduced me to the concept of self-compassion. It changed my
Yes.
life. I told
Yeah.
everybody about it. I wanted to write a book for Black women so they would be kind to themselves. That made me
Yes.
want to be a coach because I started having conversations. So anyway,
Mm-hmm. I
tangent
love
girly.
that.
So
It's okay. That's okay.
so therapy. And if
Mm-hmm.
you say, well, I
I
don't know about
believe in it too.
therapy,
Absolutely. I think it's critical. And it
it
doesn't not, anyway, go ahead. You finish your thought, please.
I was just going to say, I have on my little breathe thing, it says therapy or emotional support. So
Yes.
if you don't want to talk to a therapist, maybe a
Yes.
counselor, maybe a pastor, maybe a trusted friend or family, but don't carry it all. Talk to
I
somebody.
absolutely agree completely.
Yeah.
There's a woman named Tina Lifford who her
Yes, from
concept
Queen
is in
Sugar.
yes. And so I have been working with her for 3 years and she's completely helped me transform my life. And to your point, she's not a therapist per se, a licensed therapist, but she's the most incredible coach and
Mm,
life there, she's like life coaching. And
hmm
I totally, her practices around inner fitness, and making sure
hmm
that our inner compass is as strong as our physical fitness and really focusing on that, on a daily
hmm
basis really does transform our lives. So,
It's so
therapy and what
important.
you said, and even community, having
Hmm
a coach or a friend or a confidant, but also even our community within Sunrise. So many people show up every Sunday for the last 6 years almost. And this
Wow.
community is a space of safe, shame-free support, So I
Yes.
love that. I
Yes.
love the therapy. I think that's critical. And of course, I love what you just said, plan your joy. Joy
Yes.
is really foundational to me as
Yes.
well. I love that. Okay, the next one was hydration. Hydration for the
Hydration.
H. Hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, but making sure that you are drinking your water. And like I said earlier, I ended up in the ER with high blood
Yes.
pressure and dehydration because of something so simple, just
Hmm.
making sure that you are hydrated. So
Hmm.
sip your water.
All day. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then exercise. And I struggle with this one, but I say move your body in a way that you don't hate.
Oh, that's interesting. What does that mean for you, Dr. Coyley? In a
So
way that you
I,
don't hate. What does that mean? What
yep,
do
in a
you
way
mean by
that you don't
that?
hate. Like, I
Hmm.
do not like running. I tell people if you see me running, you need to run too. There is an emergency.
That's funny.
So I don't like running, but I like stretching. I like walking. So I like dancing. I like just moving my body. So
I
move
love
your
it.
body. Don't
Yes,
do something that you hate because you won't continue to do it.
that's right. I like
So,
learning TikTok dance challenges, which is just hysterical to me.
oh, I love
And it's
that.
so fun. And I just laugh and crack myself up in the mirror. And I'm often embarrassed or too shy to share. I did one time, but it's so much fun. So I love that. I have many more questions, but I see Nikki's hand up. So, Nikki, good morning. Or Nicole,
Good
I think it's
day. Well,
Nikki. Hey,
I
good
forget to
morning.
change it. That's for the official meetings, Nicole
Okay,
Brown.
cool. Cool,
Hi,
cool. Hey, Nikki.
everyone. Oh my
Good
God.
morning.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Dr. Quayle and Kelly. I started my year off in breathe. Like
Mm,
every word that you have there is just how I've been living my life. I decided at the end of 2025, I wanted to be present at every
mhm,
intersection of my life. I just needed to be
Mm,
present. You know, a lot of times we're going,
mhm,
we're doing, all this stuff, and we're not present.
mhm,
And so I wanted to be present in my life. And so 22 days ago, I decided I would never touch another alcoholic beverage or
mm,
any mind altering substance because it prevents me from being present in my
mm,
life. And so when I
mm,
saw when you said breathe and then I heard it, I was like, oh, I'm living this. I've been
mm.
living this and it's felt so
Yeah.
good. And I've created lots of
Mm,
community around it, like different communities. So when you talk about boundaries, I created boundaries for myself. I told you all a few weeks ago, like my son is no longer on drugs by the grace of God. It'll be 1 year on March the 14th, but he still
amazing.
mhm,
cigarettes and he was smoking them in the house. And I was like, asking, please stop. Can you stop? Please, can you stop? And he wouldn't stop. And so then I needed to create a boundary for myself. So I wrote him a letter and it was an eviction notice. It was a 30-day eviction notice. And it is unofficial until I go to court, but it is a 30-day notice to say my safety, my health, my daughter's health, my 12-year-old's lungs are important to me. And
Mm,
I didn't feel any emotion like I felt before. I no
mm,
longer feel guilty about being the parent who stayed. I'm the parent who loved. And damn it, if you don't love yourself, that's fine, but you ain't going to kill me in the process. And so I
mm,
recognized that I was harming myself by not saying anything and not being the true woman of justice. Because here I am advocating for other people in the front lines of
mm,
earth justice, but I wasn't advocating for my own life. And so I wrote
mm,
that letter, and I prayed. And that young man left the house for a full day after I wrote that letter. And every day afterwards, I have not smelled any cigarette smoke coming from his room and intoxicating his lungs, our lungs. I'm sure he's still smoking and maybe he's not, but whatever he's doing, he's not doing it here. And I will
mhm,
revisit my preliminary eviction notice as an expansion of my boundary. Do not think that this cannot go further because that is what the letter said. If if the expectation is not met, I will then have to go to court and do the legal proceedings. And no parent wants to do that if we're thinking
mhm,
emotionally. But if I'm taking emotion out of it and putting myself first, I am making sure that my health is taken care of. And so rest is my responsibility. It is my right.
mhm,
I've been thinking of this ever since I read Rest is Resistance. I was like, well, I don't want to say it's resistance. For me, it is a right. It is my
mhm,
responsibility to myself and to anyone that I speak of. I created a whole rest community inside of WhatsApp, like, hey, who wants to rest? I just came off of a water and smoothie fast last week. Art has been like every day I write. Therapy, oh,
mm,
forget it. I live my life in therapy. Hydration, that water fast, and just water every day. And I have moved my body with intentionality every single day for the past 25 days. And the days that
mm,
I did not move, it was just one day of rest. But I did something in the world of moving my body. And so
mm.
I'm just really grateful that you gave this acronym to us today. It is confirmation that
mm,
our lives, our communities are on the right path. And then the last thing I'll say to this worldly mayhem that is in existence. I don't have television for a reason, because I don't want to tell any more lies to my vision. I decided that I was going to fast and pray in the Spirit of
mm,
God, and that God will handle all that needs to be
mm,
taken care
mm.
of, most importantly, His children. And that if I wanted to
That's right.
continue to have sanity with all that's going on,
Mhm.
that I needed to teach my daughter how to protect
That's right.
herself, how to safeguard her mind, take breaks from social media. I've been reading. I am a Muslim, so I read the Quran. And there was this thing where you read the Quran during Ramadan for 30 days, but I decided I wanted to do something where you read it in seven. So there are these manzils,
Mm,
and reading this holy book, like any other holy book, in this amount of time has had me not be on the phone, had me take
mm,
back my mind in the way that I needed to take it back and give myself some peace. So thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you for being here. And
mm,
Kelly, as always, thank you for these magnificent topics to keep us sane.
mm. Oh, Nikki, you're so amazing. Thank you for sharing so beautifully this morning. There's so much I want to say, but I want to have Dr. Coyley comment. But first, congratulations on your on you being clean. You said 22 days. That's so amazing and awesome. Second, the word protection popped up in one of my daily prayers this morning. And so I love that word protection. And it says, anchored in truth, I find my protection. And it's based on Proverbs. Every word of God proves true. He is the shield to those who take refuge in him. So as you were talking, I was thinking, gosh, that just popped up for me this morning. But I love what you said. Dr. Corley, do you want to comment on what Nikki just shared with us?
I have three different thoughts. The first one is congratulations on setting a boundary.
Yes.
Um, I always think of boundaries are for us, not for the other
Hmm.
person. So this isn't, you have to do what I say or this. It's
Hmm.
more, this is what I will accept, and then this is
Yeah.
what I will not. So,
Yeah.
congratulations on that. Trisha Hersey's Rest is Resistance, I love. So,
Yeah.
I love your WhatsApp group about rest. And then she had mentioned something about writing, and it just made me think. I
Hmm.
recently started doing something called morning pages. Um, I forget what the name of this program is, but it's something to do with the artist.
The artist way
The
by
artist's way.
Cameron.
Yes. I have not done the artist date, but I've been doing the morning pages for 24 days straight since January
Mhm.
1st, where you write 3 pages every morning. And it's just kind of stream of consciousness. But instead of getting up and looking at my phone, which I had already started trying not to do, I get up and write 3 pages of whatever is on my mind. And there's so much
Hmm.
clarity that comes from doing that. It's just really been amazing. It has
Hmm.
changed my mornings.
Mm.
It's just starting my mornings off with much more intention instead of,
Yes.
just being led by the foolishness and craziness and chaos.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more grounding. So anyway, congratulations on so many things, and thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. And Nikki says, I love the morning pages. They change consciousness.
Hmm.
Nikki is just so incredibly inspirational to me personally. And every time she shares, there's such gems. So I just want to say thank you, Nikki, for being here and for always popping on and sharing so vulnerably and openly and giving us such great words. I want to ask Dr. Quayle, because I can't believe we're almost out of time. How can people work with you? Do you work with people like us? How can you support women and men? Because I think a big part of your work is helping us identify our biggest priorities and then designing our lives around what truly matters. And
Yes.
it takes work. It's taken me 3 years to figure that out.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
can you talk
you know
about that? How do you work with people?
So while I'm thinking about it and talking about it, I'm going to put something in the chat, which is I have
Okay.
a free resource, a
Okay.
guide called the Burnout Reset Kit. So that's
Wonderful.
just
Thank you.
one thing that folks can do. It's just something you can work through to see what is fueling you and what's draining you. It also has a decision filter. So you ask yourself a few questions before you commit to saying yes to something. And then an actual reset where you do breathing, you hydrate, you do some other things. So that's one thing. Um, so I typically have worked with high achieving professional women over 40. Most of them are Black women or women of color, dentists,
Hmm.
physicians, and attorneys, executives, and other leaders. And what I do is really help them get focused on what matters most to them, and then
Hmm.
help them, as you said, design their lives in a way that honors that. So I take
Yes.
my clients through something I call the anti-burnout plan. PLAN. So the P is for pause, L is for love, A is
Hmm.
for align, and N is for no, which has become one of my favorite words.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
the pause, what we do, we actually do breathing together. But they also get really clear on what matters most to them. What are their values? What are their priorities? And once you are really clear on that, it's so much easier to make decisions. So
Hmm.
now your decisions are being filtered through what is most important to you, not what everybody else
Hmm.
thinks, not what everyone
Hmm.
else thinks success is, because what they think success is may be horrible for you.
Right.
But what do you think is most important? The next thing is love. Love yourself and love your life.
Hmm.
So a
Hmm.
lot of self-compassion and self-love, and also creating a vision of a life that you would love and knowing that you're
Hmm.
worthy of that
That's
vision
right.
for
That's
your
right.
life. The A is for align, where we get more practical and start actually designing our days so that they honor our values and our vision. And then putting self care on our schedule every day. And then the
Hmm.
no is doing some self examination. Why am I having a hard time saying no? Working through that,
Hmm.
figuring out how I can get no to roll off of my tongue, even if I have to practice it in the mirror,
That's right.
and then creating a no thank you list. So my clients walk
That's
away
right.
with a physical plan in a workbook, values, vision, designed life, and a no thank you list. But they also
I
walk
love that.
away with just a new way of living, a new way of making decisions, prioritizing themselves. Some of these ladies have been for decades taking care of everything and everyone else. And now they are committed to prioritizing them the,
Themselves. Hmm.
and making sure that they have what they want and what they need.
I love that. So, all of that work you do with women and men probably as well. I want to also just acknowledge your book again, which I put the link to your book on Amazon in the chat as
Oh,
well.
thank
It's called
you.
The Ultimate Self-Love Guide for Black Women. So that link is there. It's also on Audible, you mentioned earlier.
Yes, it
And
is.
you so graciously shared your free downloadable self-love workbook that's
The
also in
the
the chat. Is that correct?
downloadable, it's a free guide. It's a burnout reset kit.
Thank you. A burnout
Mhm.
reset kit. So all that's in the chat for people who want to. And how can people connect with you if they want to reach out?
So my website is just my name, QuayleeCarson.com. The one
Okay.
that's in the chat has a hyphen in it, but without a hyphen, QuayleeCarson.com. You can go there. There's more information about me, my social media links, some testimonials, some frequently asked
Awesome.
questions. So there's
Okay.
information there as well.
Awesome. Okay, I see it. Beautiful website. Quayle spelled Kweli and Carson Carson. I know sometimes people call in still laying in bed. And that's
Mhm.
good too. So I just want to spell that for people. So you have been a joy to be with us this morning. Thank you so much. And again,
Thank
I want to
you.
say absolutely happy to have you here. And thank you to Linda Burke for referring you to us. Linda's such a
Yes.
dear friend.
Thank you, Linda.
Um, yeah. So do you want, as we close and before we turn it over to Dr. Vicky, do you want to share any last tips or words of wisdom on this Sunday?
I don't think so. I always jot things down. Let me just make sure that I do not have
Well, while
anything
you're
that I forgot
looking,
to say.
I will happily share the things I've heard you talk about:
Okay.
self-love, self-compassion, um, and self-care, the importance of all three of those: self-care, self-compassion, and self-love. One of the exercises I did recently for this 30-day program was every day writing down and another thing I liked about myself, and just filling that in. It's really nice after 30 days to have, and another thing I like about myself, confirmation of things I actually think are good about me. Many of us don't do that. And we have so much self-doubt and so much fear and worry about what other people think. But self-care, self-compassion, and self-love. And at night I hug myself and say, I love you, Kelly. That's a simple thing, but it's a hug. And so that's a good thing. The other thing I heard you talk about so beautifully was your breathe acronym. Boundaries, rest, eating well, art, therapy, hydration, and exercise, and the importance of breathing every day. And you even gave us that breathe, box breathing exercise, which is a simple tool that we can do anytime. So those are some of my takeaways among many others. So I just want to say thank you again. Really appreciate you, Dr. Quayle, for being here. Thank you for thank our community for joining us this morning. And And I'm grateful on this day, despite the craziness that's happening in the world, grateful to have
Yes.
heat and electricity and an
And a sound
opportunity.
mind.
Yes, please. So again, thank you for being here. I really,
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much. Thank you so
it.
much for having me. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely. And Dr. Vicky, big sister Dr. Vicky, will close us out in a prayer this morning.
Good morning, Dr. Quayle. Thank you
Good
again
morning.
for this being so amazing. Thank you, Kelly and Dee, for this space every week. God, we thank you for this beautiful day that you have given to us. Thank you for new mercies and grace that is sufficient, for favor that surrounds us. Thank you for the reminder that rest is a gift, that it is our birthright, that we should practice rest. Thank you for the tools shared with us today, the acronym for breathing, and for the gift of Dr. Quayle and her courage and her journey and her transparency and vulnerability. Thank you for the gift that she is, not just to us, but to the world. Allow us to find sweet rest today. Thank you for allowing us to slow down and an opportunity to breathe. We thank you for this community. Thank you for the SonRise Project. And on next Sunday, bring us back together again as we gather to share wisdom, tools, encouragement, and inspiration. Bless our homes. Keep us safe. And we give you glory for these things. Amen. Have a powerful day, everyone. And thank you again, Dr. Quayle. You were amazing.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Thank you, Dr.
Wonderful. Have a
Vicky.
wonderful day. Yes, we love you. As always, Dr. Vicky, thank you all for being here. We'll be back next Sunday. And Dr. Linda McGee will be here. She's our resident therapist. She'll be here for an open session where people can bring whatever's on your heart and mind for that conversation. So we'll see you next Sunday. Have a great day, everybody.